If you are a pensioner in South Africa, or you have parents or grandparents who depend on their monthly SASSA grant, you've probably already heard the talk about a payment of 1,250 rands. Some say it's guaranteed, others call it a rumor, and a few are convinced it's just politics. The truth, though, sits somewhere in between. This isn't a new monthly increase, at least not yet. What's on the table is a proposed once-off relief payment meant to cushion elderly South Africans against the rising cost of food, electricity, and transport. The Department of Social Development has been pushing for something concrete to help pensioners who are running out of money halfway through the month. The reality is that most older people in this country live on a fixed income that barely stretches to cover groceries, never mind medical bills or power cuts that force them to buy more expensive fuel and gas. If you think about it, 1,250 rands might not sound like much to a government accountant, but to someone living on 2,100 rands a month, it's a big deal. That extra bit could mean paying for medication, fixing a broken kettle, or just having enough food to last until the next SASSA deposit. The problem is that while people are already planning how to use it, the payment hasn't been officially signed off. Treasury officials are still working through the numbers, trying to find space in a budget already stretched thin by debt, unemployment, and social grants. The midterm budget discussion set for the 24th of March, 2025 will decide whether this relief becomes reality or just another promise that fades away after the headlines. It's easy to understand why the government feels pressure. Prices have exploded since last year. A loaf of bread that cost 14 rands now costs nearly 20. Cooking oil and maize meal have doubled in price. Pensioners are some of the hardest hit citizens because they can't just work overtime or pick up a side job to fill the gap. Many of them are caring for grandchildren or helping unemployed family members. The pension isn't just a personal income, for thousands of households, it's the only income. Civil society groups have been loud about this, arguing that a 110 rand increase earlier this year barely made a difference. That's why this once-off relief has gained so much attention. It's one of the few things that might offer short-term breathing room. But South Africans have learned to be cautious. We've seen big announcements before that never materialized. That's why officials have been careful with their wording. They call it a proposed relief payment, not a confirmed one, not a new grant, and not a recurring top-up. It's designed as a temporary measure, much like the COVID relief grants that helped millions survive lockdown. If approved, it will likely be deposited automatically into the same SASSA accounts pensioners already use. There will be no separate application process, no forms, and certainly no fees to register. Anyone claiming otherwise is lying. Unfortunately, scams always follow news like this. Messages go around on WhatsApp saying you can apply early for a fee or that you must confirm your ID number online. That's not how SASSA works. The system already has your details. If you qualify, you'll be paid automatically. Economists are split on whether this is the right solution. Some say once-off payments are like sticking a plaster on a deeper wound. They help for a moment, but they don't fix the structural problem. Others argue that something immediate is better than nothing, especially when elderly citizens are choosing between electricity and food. There's also a political angle, of course. Elections aren't far off, and pensioners make up a large and loyal voting group. Offering real financial relief at a tough time can't hurt the ruling party's image. Still, beyond the politics, the need is real. Anyone with family living on a pension knows how hard things have become. So what should pensioners do right now? The best advice is to stay informed, stay patient, and don't get caught up in rumors. Nothing official has been released yet, but credible sources suggest an announcement is close. The most likely outcome is a once-off payment before winter begins, when electricity use spikes and grocery bills climb again. Whether it's 1,250 rands or slightly less, any help is welcome. But remember, it's not about the number alone. It's about recognizing the people who built this country, who worked for decades and now deserve a measure of comfort and dignity in their later years. This possible relief won't solve everything, but it's a start. It's an acknowledgement that the elderly cannot keep absorbing every price increase while surviving on the same small grant. For now, the key is awareness. If this payment is approved, SASSA will confirm it officially. Until then, watch carefully, question everything, and support one another. Because even in the uncertainty, one truth remains clear: South African pensioners have earned more than promises. They've earned respect, action, and the right to live their final decades without fear of hunger or debt.